announcements. One, I know some of you have umbrellas, and I understand why, but there are people behind you that need to see the graduation. So we ask that you put your umbrellas down, please. The other is that if you become or feel overheated, we are streaming live in the Commons room. There are seats available in there. Please, everyone take your seats.
How about another round of applause for these people? Seniors, you may be seated. Good morning. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the Bryn Mawr School's 132nd commencement exercises. I want to welcome Grace Pollock, the chair of our Board of Trustees, and to all Bryn Mawr trustees, faculty, and staff to this annual celebration, and a warm welcome to all of the families and friends of our graduates. I'm delighted that Charlotte Armstead, one of our longest-serving faculty members, will deliver our invocation this morning. And finally, I want to welcome Douglas Becker, a Bryn Mawr parent and founder, chairman, and CEO of Laureate Education, as our distinguished speaker this morning. While we are grateful for the sunshine, we know that it is very warm, and gentlemen, please feel free to remove your jackets. We also, if you feel too warm, we have the air conditioners going in the Gordon building, and we are live streaming the ceremony in the Commons room in the Howell building right next door. You have to go around, because we've shut these air conditioners off on this side of the building, so it won't hear it. I want to take a moment and recognize and thank the class of 2017 parents. All of us assembled here this morning are filled with pride of your daughter's achievements, and we are all wistful about their impending departure. And as your daughters graduate, most of you will graduate from us too. And so let me take this moment to thank you for all that you've done for Bryn Mawr and your great dedication to our school. And would you now please to recite the school prayer, and then we will sing the school song. The words for both are in the back of your program. Please stand. Watch over our school, O Lord, as its years increase, and bless and guide its children wherever they may be, keeping them ever unspotted from the world. Let their hearts be pure, their faith unshaken, their principles immovable. Be thou by their side if dark hours shall come upon them. Strengthen them when they stand. Comfort and help them when they are weak-hearted. Raise them up if they fall. Let thy light never grow dim to their eyes, but through the struggle and the business of their everyday lives, let its radiance lead us heavenward. And in their hearts may thy peace, which passeth understanding, abide all the days of our lives. Charlotte Armstead, who has taught art in the middle school at Bryn Mawr for more than 3 decades, will give our invocation this morning. Ms. Armstead.
A new day has arrived. We awoke this morning with great anticipation and excitement. The time is now. Let us be in this moment of glory. May each one of you continue to find your connection to the world. You have proved to us on this campus your love for learning, intellect, passion for others, diligence, quest to find the truth, and the zest for life. Your God-given talents are immeasurable. May you take all of these gifts to make your light shine. Let your light shine throughout the communities of the world. May you be comforted in times of anxieties, uncertainties, and despair. Remain hopeful regardless of the situation. As you move forward and life becomes too busy, find time to be still and observe the beauty that surrounds you. This may humble you and give you peace. Remember that sometimes humor is the best medicine for stress. May your voice be heard and taken seriously, for you are a leader. You are now continuing your life's journey. There may be detours. Be persistent. The future is in your hands. If by chance you start off in one career and end up living another, don't think of it as a coincidence or mistake. Think of it as a personal blueprint of the master plan for your life. Actress, producer, and philanthropist Oprah Winfrey said it best, quote, "There's no greater gift you can give or receive than to honor your calling. It is why you were born," unquote. On this day of graduation and beautiful celebrations, let us be reminded to live in the moment. Keep the faith. Reach out to others. Acknowledge our ancestors and thank those who timelessly support us. May all be blessed.
Thank you, Ms. Armstead. Let me also thank the dedicated staff and of our operations department and our administrative staff for all of the work that goes into planning today's graduation. Let me give special thanks to our ushers, Jennifer Galambos, Jeanette Budzik, Debbie Rice, Francie Apollony, Deb Bound, and the one we could never go on without, Terry DeTore. Thank you. Thank you as well to the families and grandparents of our graduates under the leadership of Flor and Bill McComas. An incredible $100,000 was raised by the senior class for faculty support. Thank you, Flor and Bill and the committee members. On behalf of the faculty, I'd like to offer congratulations to the seniors who won awards at our departmental convocation this spring and class day yesterday. Their names are listed in your program. Two students' names who received awards yesterday are not listed in our program because the awards were based on year-end averages. Congratulations to Margaret King, winner of the Bryn Mawr College Prize, and Claire Booth, winner of this year's Edith Hamilton Award. It gives me great pleasure to welcome our distinguished guest speaker, Douglas Becker, founder and chief executive officer of Laureate Education. Mr. Becker grew up here in Baltimore, and as an enterprising Gilman School senior, he created the Life Card in 1984, a technology intended to digitize and store medical records. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Maryland, which is now Care First, invested, and 2 years later acquired the company. So at the age of 19, Mr. Becker's career as an entrepreneur was just beginning. Mr. Becker continued as an entrepreneur, moving into the field of education. Throughout the 1990s, he built Sylvan Learning Systems into the K-12 tutoring leader with nearly 2,000 learning centers and 200,000 students before branching into higher education in 1999. Mr. Becker is now Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of Laureate Education Incorporated, the world's leading network of higher education institutions, which he has led since 1991. Today, Laureate provides high-quality education to more than 1 million students at more than 70 campuses, campus-based and online institutions in 25 countries across North America, Latin America, Europe, Africa, Asia, and the Middle East. Mr. Becker is also chairman of the board of the International Youth Foundation, a nonprofit institution that has invested nearly $200 million to improve conditions and prospects for young people in 105 countries. With Mr. Becker's guidance, IYF expanded its Youth Action Net program, which supports young social entrepreneurs around the globe. Mr. Becker is also an active supporter of many civic groups and organizations throughout Baltimore. Doug and his wife Erin have 2 children, Bryn Mawr 10th grader Rose and Rose's younger brother EJ. We are delighted that Mr. Becker is here to address our class of 2017 on this special occasion. Please join me in welcoming Douglas Becker.
Well, thank you so much, Maureen. It's such an honor to be here on this amazing special day to celebrate the accomplishments of these impressive, beautiful young women who really represent the future. Girls, I have to say, when they told you you would get your moment in the sun, you might not have thought they meant it quite so literally. I'm close to taking Maureen up on the recommendation that we take our jackets off. Otherwise, it'll be like the Nixon televised debate up here. I'll try not to let that happen. Look, we are here to celebrate your accomplishments and your hard work. As a father, I can tell you, I know how hard it is to accomplish the goal of graduating from this amazing school. And I also know the way this school transforms the lives of the young women who really entrust themselves to its process and to the teachers and staff who take such good care of them. Parents and teachers, you must be so proud of these young women. Let's hear it for them. And graduates, let's show your appreciation for your teachers and for parents, many of whom have sacrificed a great deal for you to be here today. Let's talk about your future. In my work and in the work of all educators, we need to spend a lot of time thinking about the future. We're preparing you to enter new worlds and conditions that may not even exist today, and it requires a lot of thought about what's coming ahead. So I'm going to spend the next few minutes talking about the future and your future. How clear is your view of your own future, or the future of the world? Is it a bit murky? It is for me too. But some things can be completely predicted, and the one thing we can be certain of is change, and the change that's coming in the world. Darwin, who was born over 200 years ago, had an amazing way of describing the importance of adaptability. He said it's not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change. So when we talk about the future, we're also going to talk about change. They're completely interrelated. When I look at the many challenges in the world and in our country, there are days where I feel like nothing can change. It's frustrating and worrying, and there are things about the world that must change and need to change. But so much will change in your lifetime, and much of it will be for the better. While we focus on technological advancements, like in my lifetime, the idea of putting an astronaut on the moon, much of the change has been societal. I'll give you an example. When I was a kid, we didn't wear seatbelts. There weren't seatbelts in cars when I was a kid. Everybody smoked. Now, in the time of my life, we've seen us reach a point where society just decided it couldn't accept those risks of physical harm and issues with health. And today, most people wear seatbelts and most people don't smoke. That's an example of something that I would have told you when I was your age, I never would have expected to see in my lifetime. Now, 100 years ago, the life expectancy was around 50, so around my age. Today, the average life expectancy is around 80, around the age of my parents. So this is an example of, I guess, nothing else, seatbelts and smoking, but certainly a lot of advances in science and medicine. Things change dramatically, expected. Just another example, 100 years ago, only 13% of young men and women graduated from high school. Today, it's 85% who participate in this journey as you do today. 20 years ago was the crossover point where women started outpacing men in the percentage of those earning a college degree. Women, we can say today, with great certainty, are simply better educated than men. So that's how things have changed in my lifetime. Now, what about yours? In the year 2050, you will be, more or less, around my age. I know that seems hard for you to believe. People will live longer. There will be great things that can happen in the world. Scientists are expecting significant drops, continued drops in child mortality. Extreme poverty will be eradicated in many countries. Illiteracy, which today is still affecting 23% of all people in the world, is projected to go to nearly zero by the time you could be standing here and talking and giving your thoughts and advice to others. So what about technology? It will bear many gifts, and many of them are coming soon, whether that's delivery drones, self-driving cars, the Hyperloop, I can't wait for that one, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, space tourism, robotics, renewable energy, medical advances to even further increase lifespan. And then some of the more wild ideas, towers that will be built into space. And I read about the new development in fashion, spray on clothes. That's a prediction. People actually believe we're going to spray our clothes on. I wish I'd done that this morning. So there are many good things to expect with change in the future, but there's also things to be worried about. We can joke about the heat, but the fact is climate change is a great worry, and it will be an issue during your lifespan. That could result in changes in agriculture, that could cause food shortages, flooding on the coastal areas, which could cause massive population displacement. Yes, there are things to worry about too. Well, how will employment change in the future? When I was a kid, one of the largest categories of employment in this country was to be a telephone operator, a job that doesn't even exist anymore. I remember elevator operators to do what today would mean pressing a button. That doesn't exist anymore. And who are the elevator operators today? Right? It will likely be drivers, for example, and taxis and Ubers, when you have self-driving cars, or people working in fast food restaurants where robotics could replace their roles. That's a little bit of a worry. And we have to think about what this means for the future, because there will also be new kinds of jobs, jobs driven by science, technology, medical advances, and things of that nature. There's an expectation, many of you are probably reading about this idea of the universal wage, that there simply won't be enough jobs for everyone, and society will pay some people not to work. I have an 11-year-old son who told me he thinks that's a good idea. But it's probably not in a two-tier system where you want to be. And these changes are going to require continued education, the education that you enjoy today and your further investment in it in the future. That's your key to thriving in a two-tier system. But changes are also going to be not only broad and societal, you will also face extreme personal changes, and you will need to learn how to adapt in your job, for your family, in your health. And that requires resiliency. How can you build resiliency like a muscle? How can you be, like Darwin said, the one most responsive to change? There are 4 things I think that are key to resiliency. Attitude, which is your confidence in the future and a positive attitude. Feelings, your ability to have insights into your own feelings and to communicate with your friends and family and to ask for support. Fitness, your ability to take responsibility for your own physical and mental fitness. And ambition, having goals for the future and the optimism that comes with it. Your future, You can't control it, none of us can, but you can influence your future. Are you following a script written by someone else? We all do. Certainly as a kid, that's what you need to do. Teachers, parents, everyone around you writes a script to try to give you the opportunities that they dream of for you. But now it's time for you to be the author of your own story. You face a world of opportunity and of challenges. Are you excited? Are you a little bit scared? Well, Victor Hugo said that you should be like the bird that passing on her flight a while on boughs too slight, feels them give way beneath her, and yet sings, knowing that she hath wings. The branches in your life will sometimes give way, but you have wings. What are your wings? Your education, the support of your family and friends, your resilience. Bryn Mawr has helped you develop those wings, and Bryn Mawr and its community will always be a part of the story of your life. Remember, this is the place where you learn to persevere, to bounce back, to write your own story. If you don't write it, someone else will. Welcome to the future. All of us here are so excited to see what you do with it. Congratulations.
And I believe Dayside comes forward. Vicky Desai. Now I'd like to ask Upper School Director Jennifer Galambos to come forward for the presentation of the Bryn Mawr School Scholarship Award. Dr. Galambos.
The faculty and Board of Trustees award the Bryn Mawr School Scholarship to the graduating senior who has had the highest academic record throughout her school years and who shows promise of academic distinction in college. It is my pleasure to announce that Elizabeth Maxey, who will attend Princeton University in the fall, has been named the recipient of the Bryn Mawr School Scholarship for 2017. Elizabeth. Headmistress, and Emily Tankersley, Chief Advisor to the senior class, to assist in the awarding of diplomas. Mrs. Pollack, I am delighted to present to you the class of 2017. While we are proud of each graduate, out of respect for them all, I ask you to hold your applause until all of the young women have received their diplomas. Third row, please rise. Ebony Simone Ambush. Jordan Audrey Askew. Denise Osley Eigen. Kamaya Shawbury Basu. Emily Ann Disbisfor Berman. Kelsey Blair Black. Christine Yishu Blackshaw. Rachel Gabrielle Bogan. Helena Sundara Brijbasi. Georgia Cameron Brown. Lillian Kane Burchell. Akua Asantiwa Campbell. Alice Louise Kaplan. Kate Sophie Quoro. Cameron Amelia Horse. Caroline Louise Cortezi. Adia Ishe Colors. Maeve Ashleen Curran. Omalola Olara Dada. Natasha Dada. Davy Arena Dean Polyak. Laura Elizabeth Denick. Elaine Grace Dragotis. Mary Claire Bevan Dunbar. Mary Ashley Butler Duncan. Amy Joanne Egan. Grace Whitaker Felder. Abigail Elizabeth Fisher. Sydney Grace Brow. Len Mana Habtu. Anam Huck. Grace Kearney Hare. Back row, please be seated. Middle row, please rise. Vaidehi Kaushal. Stella Nantaba Kirabo Kasiboy. Joanna Zena Khatib. Eden Delaney Komar. Joanna Grace Levin. Abigail Rose Levine. Elizabeth Ann Maxey. Catherine Fitzgerald McGuire. Haley Joya Marconi. Floran Alexandria McComas. Hannah Margaret Moeller. Sophie Elizabeth Murphy. Zara Zabine Nakib. Rita Marie Newsel. Catherine Mary Norminski. Maria Annalise Ostendorf. Haley Elizabeth Tanner Wrights. Victoria Avery Amanda Riedel. Emily K. Robinson. Rebecca Elise Robinson. Kanaya Maria Lee Rogers. Anjali Ravina Ruta. Josefa Teresa Santos Powell. Shirei Sherry Shen. Middle row, please be seated. Front row, please rise. Jordan McKenna Shark. Charlotte Paige Simpson. Gabrielle Rachel Sitko. Charlotte Louise Skolaski. Kathleen Evelyn Smith. Arushi Sood. Devin Margaret Leitram Stuzen. Uting Su. Candace Victoria Thomas. Madeline Pearl Unger. Jamin Wong. Kayla Francine Washington. Cassandra Ann Waters. Eden Janine Wiggins. Annalie Wu. Emma Elizabeth Wyatt. Ran Yan. Sophia Victoria Yazigi. Valzine Anastasia Chu. Carolina Jamba. Front row, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, families and friends, I present to you the Bryn Mawr School graduates of 20. Thank you, juniors. William Butler Yeats wrote that education is not the filling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire. And so I've been thinking a lot about the idea of light, of illumination, as a metaphor for your Bryn Mawr education, and the references throughout history and traditions of light as a symbol of knowledge and goodness seem to make the metaphor work. For example, I'm reminded of the quotation from the book of Isaiah, "The people who walk in darkness have seen a great light." Or the opening lines from Mary Oliver's poem, The Buddha's Last Instructions. "Make of yourself a light," said the Buddha before he died. And from the Quran, this beautiful passage, "Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. The example of his light is like a niche within which is a lamp. The lamp is within glass, the glass as if it were a pearly white star, lit from the oil of a blessed olive tree, neither of the east nor of the west, whose oil would almost glow even if untouched by fire,
light upon light. And from our school prayer, which often seems to me to reflect traditional cadences and references from the Book of Common Prayer. Let thy light never grow dim to their eyes, but through the struggle and the business of their everyday lives, let its radiance lead them heavenward. Or the idea that this light must be fulfilled. Or to paraphrase John Milton, how will you spend your light? As you head off on your lives beyond this campus, ask yourself, how will I spend my light? Ask yourself often as the years pass and the impact of your Bryn Mawr education continues to unfold. Have I made myself a light? And how do I spend it now? There's a life after college when much of this will finally make sense to you. You will always be a Martian. Bryn Mawr never leaves you. Bryn Mawr will always be a part of you, and you too will always be with us. I hope you know how proud we are of all of you, that you have amazed us again and again. On behalf of the faculty, let me thank you for the joy and the blessings you've given us. And as you go forth, let me ask you to be bold, be creative, be joyful, and subversive. Do well and do good. Make of yourself a light, and spend your light passionately and benevolently. And as Robert Kennedy said so many years ago, make gentle the life of the world. And may I just say on a personal note, thank you to the Bryn Mawr community for the extraordinary honor of leading this wonderful school for the last 15 years. Godspeed to the Bryn Mawr class of 2017, ex solo ad solum from this place. May you rise to the sun. Thank you. aye. As we conclude our commencement exercises this morning, we invite you to join us for refreshments in the Carry Quad, just outside the North Building, immediately following the ceremony. And let me ask all of our guests to please remain seated until our seniors have recessed. Seniors, will you please rise? Let the bell now toll to honor and celebrate the Bryn Mawr class of 2017. The 132nd session of the Bryn Mawr School is now concluded.